a to the 3/4 b squared. The bases are different. Notice that the base here is a and the base here is b. But there's a base b in the denominator and there is a base a in the denominator as well. So you can combine the a's by subtraction. You can combine the b's with subtraction because both involve division. So a to the 3/4 divided by, so this line is divided by a to the 7/8 is a to the 3/4 minus 7/8. Now we can combine the b's and we can go b to the exponent of the numerator minus exponent of the denominator. So this is equal to a to the 4 times 2 is 8, 3 times 2 is 6. So a to the 6 over 8 minus 7 over 8, b to the 2 over 1, multiply the numerator by 4, denominator by 4, so that becomes 8 over 4 minus 1 over 4. You can use your calculator to do the simplifications. 6 minus 7 is negative 1 over 8, b to the 8 minus 1 over 8 minus 1, over 4. So this is a to the negative 1/8, b to the 7/4. Now usually we write the answer with positive exponents. So remember, this is over 1. If we moved the a down, the b is still in the numerator with a 7/4, and the a moves to the denominator and we change the sign of the exponent from negative to positive. Now let's do the next one. A to the 1/3 base is a divided by a to the 3/5 and b to the 4th. The base is b and there's a base b in the denominator. We could combine the a's. Division, a to the 1/3, so we have 1/3 exponent of the numerator minus the exponent of the denominator times b to the exponent of the numerator minus exponent of the denominator. So we go 1/3 minus 3/5. So 5 times 3, 15 is the LCM. So a to the 1 times 5 over 3 times 5 minus, we go 3 times 3 times 5 times 3, b to the 4 times 3 over 1 times 3 minus 1 times 3. So I'm just taking the LCM. You don't have to do all this. Just use your calculator. But if you like to do things quickly by hand, I'm just doing this slowly so you understand how to do this. So that's 5 minus 9 over 15. The common denominator is 15. And b to the 4 times 3 is 12 minus 1 over 3. So that is equal to a to the negative 4 over 15 times b to the 11 over 3. Move this down and you get b to the 11 over 3 over a to the 4 over 15. So this is, if you have a numerator and a denominator, and if there's any room for simplification, then simplify the numerator first, simplify the denominator first, and then see how you can work with the numerator and denominator by using the rule of division. So how do we simplify the numerator here? It's y to the 2/3 times 3/4. Remember, if it's a to the m whole to the n, it's a to the m times n, the only time you multiply exponents. We cancel common factors. 2 goes 2 times into 4. And remember that this is, we'll go to the next step first. Y to the denominator is 1/3 times 3/5. Again, we cancel common factors and we get, in the numerator, we get y to the half. Remember, the 2 is left over in the denominator, so it's y to the half over y to the 1/5. So we've simplified the numerator completely, we've simplified the denominator completely, and now we have y to the 1/2 minus 1/5, and that is equal to y to the, remember the subtraction because this is same base and it's division, so keep the same base and you go 1/2 minus 1/5. So this is equal to 5. We multiply the numerator and denominator by 5, numerator and denominator by 2, because 10 is the LCM. So we have 5 minus 2 over 10, and that's equal to y to the 3/10. So this is equal to, again, we simplify the numerator, we simplify the denominator. Remember, that's the first thing to do, simplify each of these in whichever way you can. So in this case, we go 5/4 because that's the rule of exponents, 2/5, and then divided by, again, the same rule applies, 1/4 times 4/3, cancel common factors, 5 and the 5, 2 goes 2 times into 4, 4 and 4 cancel, and we've simplified the numerator to y to the half, we've simplified the denominator to y to the 1/3, and this is equal to y to the half minus 1/3, and now the LCM is 3 times 2, 6, so go 1 times 3 over 2 times 3, which makes the denominator 6, 1 times 2 over 3 times 2, which makes the denominator 6. So now we have a common denominator 6, 3 minus 2 is 1, and the answer is y to the 1/6. So you have a numerator and a denominator, and always simplify the numerator completely, simplify the denominator completely, and then see what you can do with the numerator and the denominator. So this is x to the 1 times x to the 2/3 is x to the 1 plus 2/3. Add the exponents for multiplication. In the denominator, it's x to the 5/6 the whole cubed. When we have this situation, we multiply the exponents, and we have x to the 5/6 by the rule of exponents is multiplied with 3, which is really 3 to the 1. We simplify 1 and 2/3. 1 can be written as 3/3. We multiply the numerator with the 3, denominator with the 3, plus 2/3. Use your calculators. Use the fraction function. 3 goes 2 times into 6, and we have x to the 5/2 in the denominator. This is equal to 3 plus 2 is 5, so that's x to the 5/3 over x to the 5/2. So this is equal to x to the 5/3 minus 5/2, because we are dividing and the bases are the same. the bases are the same, and so we subtract exponents. So this is equal to x to the, use your calculators for subtraction of fractions. I'm just doing this because I don't want to pick up a calculator right now. So this is 5 times 3 over 2 times 3. The common denominator is a 6. 5 times 2 is 10. X to the 10 minus 5 3s are 15. Over 3 times 2 is a 6, a common denominator. And this is equal to x to the negative 5 over 6. If you want to get rid of the negative exponent, move the number from the numerator to the denominator. So the numerator becomes a 1 and you get x to the positive 5/6. Now here again, there's a complicated numerator, there's a complicated denominator. Simplify in whichever way you can, the numerator and denominator. So in this case, inside the parentheses, there's really nothing much to simplify because the bases are different. You cannot combine numbers with different bases. So it's simplified completely inside the parentheses. But the one thing you could do is raise each to the 1/3. And before I do that, I'm going to take 27 as 3 cubed. Whole to the 1/3. X to the 12th. Whole to the 1/3. Y to the 6th. Whole to the 1/3. That's the rule of exponents. Each one gets raised to the power of 1/3. Same thing in the denominator. I'm going to write 81 as 9 squared whole to the half. That's the rule of exponents. Each term, since it's multiplied together, each term is going to be raised to the power of half. And then you have y to the 8th to the half. Now cancel common factors. You're multiplying these because this is 3 to the 3 times 1/3, x to the 12 times 1/3, y to the 6 times 1/3. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6. So we have 3 to the 1, x to the 4, y to the 2. So that is 3x to the 4th y squared. That's the numerator. Sorry, I should have written the denominator as well. Let me just erase this. Let's do this step by step. And this is 9 to the 2 times half, x to the 10 times half, y to the 8 times half. Cancel common factors. 2 goes 5 times into 10. 2 goes 4 times into 8. So we have 3 to the 1, x to the 4th, y to the 2. After cancelling common factors, that's what we're left with. 3 to the 1, x to the 4th, y to the 2, divided by 9 to the 1, x to the 5th, y to the 4th. And now the last step is combine the x's, combine the y's. Now that we've simplified the numerator completely, denominator completely, notice that 3 goes 3 times into 9. So you have a 1/3, x to the 4 minus 5 times y to the 2 minus 4. Since it's division, we're going to subtract exponents. 1/3, x to the negative 1, y to the negative 2. Now, if you want to get rid of negative exponents, move them down to the denominator. So you get 3 times x to the 1, y to the 2. And that is the simplest form in which you can present your answer.